Hey everyone, my name is Bill, and I want to thank you for coming to the Vision Center today to learn about what we do at work. And so I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit today about being blind. And I'm blind myself, I'm not able to see very well. But I love talking to kids, and I like teaching people about people who are blind. I like teaching people how we do things, and I really like it when people ask me questions. So I'm not there today, unfortunately. I wanted to be with you guys, but I have another appointment that runs up against the same time that you guys are watching this video. So I was going to just record this and give you guys some information and teach you a little bit about some of the things that people who are blind go through every day. I'm going to teach you a little bit about what I do for work. So again, welcome and thank you for coming and thank you for listening to me speak today. First of all, I want to tell you that I've always had difficulty seeing. I've always been kind of blind, and lately I've lost more vision, so I can't see very well at all. But when I was growing up, I loved video games, and I loved computers, and I loved all sorts of technology. And being that I wasn't able to see very well, I had to learn how to use it differently, right? So I learned technology in a way that is very, very different because most of your technology has like a TV screen on it, right? You can see it. It's either a monitor or some of the phones that we have now and our iPads. They all have these screens on them. And if you can't see, it's actually not that easy to use it because there's a screen that you have to look at. Well, they have developed technology that is inside each device. And for some people, this technology will make the writing on the screen bigger, and the pictures and the images that come up on the screen, you'll see them that are enlarged. And then for other people like me, because I can't see print, there's a piece of technology that's built in that reads the screen to me. So you hear like a little voice that reads the screen. So if somebody sends me a message, like an email, or if somebody sends me, a text or something like that, I'm able to read it because the screen reader, like the voice that's in the software there, will actually read it to me. So I can communicate back and forth with my friends, with the people that I work with. Whenever I work with kids, I can communicate back and forth with their parents. And so it's a lot easier for me to do because technology has come a long way, and people have made technology in a way that people like me can use it, right? So anyway, Bring Your Sons and Daughters to Work Day is about teaching you guys what our parents do for a living, right? Your aunt, your uncle, mom, dad, your grandmother, your grandfather, when they come to work, you guys are usually in school. And so there's not a whole lot that you know about what they do until you get older and until you start talking to your parents more, uh, and until you come to things like today, where you're coming to work. And so what I do for work is I work with people who are blind, just like me. I work to teach them how to do different things for themselves. And one of those things that I teach is how to use technology. I teach people how to use computers using that software that we talked about earlier, where they learn how to go through different web pages, they learn how to send messages back and forth, and they learn how to make videos like this one, which is what I'm doing. I was using my technology to help me get set up and to do this video for you guys. So there's a lot of cool stuff when it comes to technology, and it's a lot of fun for me to be able to work with people who are blind and teach them that they can do things just like anyone else, they just do them differently, right? So we use technology to help us with our work, with our play, with all the stuff that we do every day. And so with technology, we basically teach people how to do stuff independently, and independently means to do it for themselves and to do it without a whole lot of help from someone who can see, right? So I get asked a lot of questions, right? Whenever I talk to kids, kids always have really good questions for me. And one of the questions that I get asked all the time is, does being blind hurt? And the answer is no. It doesn't hurt, unless, of course, I bump into something, and I sometimes, miss something when I'm walking, and I might bump into it. It might hurt a little. I think it hurts my pride a little bit more than it hurts my body, but being blind doesn't really hurt. So I talked to you guys really quick about technology and stuff like that. What I didn't tell you is, how do I get around if I'm blind, right? Well, I use a cane, and you guys might see people walking around with a white cane. You might see them on TV. Maybe there's a kid at school that uses a white cane. And so I'm one of those people. I have to use a white cane to get around, and my cane helps me get past different things that might be in my way. So if I'm walking through a room like what you guys are in today, I might, my cane might tap one of the chairs or something, and I'll know that there's something there and that I need to get out of it, get around it and somehow get past it. And so that's what I do. I use my cane to get me wherever I need to go safely, right? And so I work in a big city, and when I use the metro or use a bus to get around, just like most people, using a cane is very, very useful to me, and I'm able to do that. I'm able to just walk around, and I started learning how to use a cane when I was your age, like when I was a little kid like you guys, and I learned it in school. So there was a teacher that was there to help me learn how to get around safely, so I don't get around bumping into stuff all the time, right? No one likes that, although it probably is pretty funny to some people. And it's okay to laugh, because, sometimes when you bump into stuff, it's silly, and, you messed up, and it happens. So you have to have a good attitude about it, right? So yeah, I learned how to do that stuff when I was a kid. I learned how to travel by myself, how to get around safely using my cane, and I also learned how to read Braille. And so if you haven't seen Braille before, Braille is basically made up of dots, right? So you have a piece of paper, and most of you guys can just look at a piece of paper and read what's written on it, right? If you write something with a pencil or a pen, or if it gets printed out of a computer, you can actually see the words on the paper and you can read them. Well, for people like me, I can't see those words. So I use something called Braille. And Braille is basically, like I said, it's made up of dots, and each little set of dots is a letter, or some sets of dots might be a whole word. And it's different, but I'm still reading, just like you guys are reading. So it's just done differently, but you still accomplish the same task, right? You're still able to read. You're still able to do your homework, which, I'm actually still doing some stuff in college, and I need to do homework sometimes, and it's a lot of work. My college teachers are pretty hard as far as like being able to go through and do all your work. They want you to do a lot of reading and a lot of writing. So I have to do that, and I use Braille, and I use my technology to read to me the books that I need to read and to do my assignments, just like you guys have to do in school. So that's basically what I do, uh, here at the Vision Center. And so Mrs. Morris wanted me to talk to you guys a little bit about how to guide someone, right? So sometimes, if you want to get somewhere quickly, if you want to get past a whole lot of obstacles, using your cane might not be the fastest way to do it. And so, for example, if I'm running to a meeting like I'm about to here in a few minutes, I might ask somebody, hey, are you going the same way as me? Let me just take your arm, right? So what I'll do is I'll take their arm, hold their arm behind their elbow, and just follow them as they walk, just kind of holding onto their arm. You don't have to be tight. You don't have to hold it tight or anything like that. You just gently put your hand right behind someone's elbow, and they will guide you where you need to go. And you usually do that if they're going to the same place as you. You normally don't want to ask somebody who's not going your way, but it's definitely something that is helpful. And so Mrs. Morris asked me to really, talk to you guys a little bit about that type of stuff, right? So yeah, that's basically who I am and what I do, and it's a little bit of information about people who are blind and how they do things. So I know Mrs. Morris knows a lot about that type of stuff because she's worked with me before. And if you have some questions, maybe you can ask Mrs. Morris, and she'll be able to answer them for you. But anyway, that's basically it for my little talk today. I hope you guys had a good morning so far. I'm really excited to be talking to you guys, even though I'm not there live. I love talking to kids, and I think you guys are great. And I think that, when you see someone out there who might need your help, walk up to them and ask them if you can help them. If you see someone who's blind and maybe you're not sure if they know where they need to be or if they know where they're going, if you think they might need some help, it might be a good idea to just walk up and ask them. And of course, make sure you're with an adult when you're doing that type of stuff. If you're going to help somebody, that's great, but make sure an adult knows what you're doing, because you never know, right? We always want to be safe, and we always want to do things the right way, even though we want to be helpful. All right. So again, thank you guys so much for listening to me. I am gonna hit this little off button, and it's been great talking to you. So thank you so much.